Hi, Jeremy Crow here. In this video, I'd like to explain the concept of false awakenings. This can be a very disturbing experience, but it can also be very useful at the same time. So this is something that comes up frequently if you have a lot of lucid dreams, but it can even happen if you don't have lucid dreams. So if you're not aware, a lucid dream in a nutshell is just a dream in which you are aware that you're dreaming. So in other words, you're in a dream, you're like, oh, I'm dreaming, and then usually you'll wake up immediately, but there are ways you can stay in it longer. Sometimes you'll just stay in it regardless without having to do anything extra, but all kinds of possibilities open up once you are able to experience a dream with the full conscious realization of the nature of the reality that you're being presented with at the time. But that's beyond the scope of this video. I have a lot of videos on lucid dreaming, how to have them more often, what to do once you're in them, so you can check out my channel for some of the past videos, and I do videos on lucid dreaming fairly often and other related subjects, so you might want to subscribe to my channel. But false awakenings, this is what happens when you are in a dream and then you dream that you've woken up, but you didn't actually wake up. You're still in the dream. Hence a false awakening. You didn't actually wake up, you just dreamt that you woke up. And you can probably tell why that can be disturbing to some people. I mean, for example, usually it happens several in a row. So it'll be like nested dreams, kind of like a Russian doll. And actually a little bit like that Netflix show where that woman keeps dying, and then she just finds herself back in a spot that she was in earlier that evening, and then has to redo it over again. So she keeps having almost like a false awakening experience, kind of. Not quite, but it does have a similar feeling to it. And it makes her question the reality that she's experiencing. Like, am I dead right now? Like in a false awakening, once you finally do wake up, you're left with this sense of, well, did I really wake up, or am I still in a dream? Is there another level of dream beyond this that I can wake up from? And so that can be very disturbing. But at the same time, it also puts that doubt into your mind. And that doubt is so useful. It is a key to lucid dreaming. You cannot have a lucid dream if it's impossible for you to conceive of the idea that you could be dreaming at any given moment. So right now, if you're watching this video right now, presumably awake, you believe that you're awake right now, but is there a part of you that can honestly and sincerely say, well, maybe I'm dreaming right now, and say it so, like, really believe it, and really, really believe it? Because oftentimes what happens is you'll be in a dream and you'll have been doing state tests. So that means you'll be doing tests to see whether or not you're dreaming or not. And I'm not talking about pinching yourself, because you can pinch yourself in a dream and sometimes you'll feel pain and sometimes you won't. It's an inconsistent test. It's not a very good test. Just to give you an idea, one test that is very reliable is reading some text. I should do it that way. Reading some text, look away, then look back and read it again, and if it's changed, you're probably dreaming. Or if you can't read it in the first place, text is notoriously unstable in dreams, and you can use that to test to see if the reality that you're currently experiencing is a dream reality. And then wake up within the dream, or not wake up, but become lucid within the dream, and then you can experience your lucid dream. Where was I? So false awakening actually allows you to have that experience where you're not sure if you're awake or asleep and dreaming, and you're like, okay, am I finally awake? Is this the final awakening? Or am I still in a dream or not? And then if you can remember that feeling, if you can remember that feeling of not being sure whether or not you're still dreaming or not, then you can do a proper state test. And that is super important for having a lucid dream. You don't always need to have a state test to trigger a lucid dream, but it is by far the most common way to trigger a lucid dream is to ask yourself, am I dreaming right now? And then to realize, oh, I am, you know? But sometimes you just enter a dream and you just suddenly know that you're dreaming, but that's not as common. Generally, you have to question your reality frequently during the day. And eventually that habitual behavior of asking whether or not you're dreaming will work its way into a dream. And the first time you question your reality in a dream, when you say, okay, am I dreaming? And you do your state test, you read some text or whatever, and it messes up maybe, but you give an excuse for it. And you're like, I'm not dreaming, this is real, you know? And then you wake up later and you're like, oh wow, I actually got fooled by my own psyche into thinking that it was a real life experience rather than a dreaming experience, a real dream experience. Maybe I'd like to diverge here for a moment to explain why a dream feels just as real as a waking experience. So when you're having your regular waking experience, your sense organs, let's just say your eye is an example, but all of them collect data from the environment. Light enters your eye, a bit of light enters your eye. The certain wavelengths and intensities of light will trigger the rods and cones in your eye to fire an electrochemical signal through the optic nerve into the brain. The brain takes that raw data and then it compiles an experience for you, which I like to call the hologram. So this experience is a four-dimensional, a 4D, you could say 3D if you want, but it's really a four-dimensional experience, fully immersive, and you take it for granted that it's real. You just think that what you're experiencing right now while you're awake is real, but it's not. You're actually just experiencing a mental representation, kind of a map of the external environment, and internal if through your body, but I'm talking about the physical environment. You're getting data from the physical environment, and then your brain compiles it into an experience that you can understand, kind of like a graphical user interface on a computer, if you're aware of computer terminology. So when you are dreaming, that same hologram generator is active. It's just that it's using different inputs to compile into an experience for you. From what science and personal experience says, the majority of that data that it's getting information from to compile the experience from is your memories. A lot of times you will process the memories that you had that day or that week, and that's one of the functions of dream, they believe, the scientists believe, is to process the memories that you have and to strengthen the useful pathways and to de-emphasize pathways that are less useful. So you are experiencing a multi-dimensional immersive experience based off of the data that is more non-physical when you're in a dream. And that's why it feels so real, because it's the same experience generator. You're experiencing a hologram from the same function of the mind. It's just using different inputs to generate that hologram. So I'm kind of getting a little bit off the deep end here, but false awakenings, they can be a bit disturbing, but they give you that critical eye. They give you that critical mind, that skepticism about your current state. And you're able to look at your experience, the experience that you're being presented with in the moment, with a more critical eye, and you can better judge as to the nature of that reality in the moment when you're experiencing it. So that's why it's such a valuable experience to have these false awakenings. And I'm wondering, have you had a false awakening before? Was it scary? How many times did you wake up before you finally woke up? And did it have any lasting impact on you? I'd love to hear your stories. Leave me a comment below. And until next time, everybody, stay lucid.